Check your body.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gamersledge Podcast. I'm, of course, one of your hosts, Mark, and joining me this week is Matt. You're on mute, Matt.
Come on, mute.
Yay!
Hi.
There you go. Very nice Millennium Falcon shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
And then also joining us is Keegan.
Hello.
You gotta keep going. It didn't switch to you.
Hello.
That works. We have so much to catch up on. What has it been? We were like really bad. Has it been a month?
Probably about that, yeah.
Yeah. And there may be some interruptions coming up, which we'll discuss in a little while as well. But first, let's talk about what we've been doing and playing in that time. And Keegan, why don't we start with you?
Okay, so my anime list. So I watched Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches. I watched Full Metal Alchemist, the original version. And I watched Grand Blue. Then on the manga front, I read the first 3 volumes of Hinwa ga Crush. The first volume of Eden Zero. And the first volume of Boku no Hero Vigilante. Then on the gaming side, I have played Ghost of Tsushima and completed it, and I've been playing a bit of Fall Guys. Got my first win just 2 days ago, and I have also been playing the Fairy Tail video game. And
Nice.
That's all.
All right. Matt, how about you?
I finished and platinumed Ghost of Tsushima, or as the Japanese PlayStation PR team goes.
You went mute again somehow.
Did I? I must have overpowered the. You hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I must have overpowered it with the exaggerated ghost. But man, those guys, they go to town on the ghost when they were talking about that thing.
It was interesting because it was comedic timing because you were like, the Japanese team, they really call it crazy stuff. And it's...
Yeah, they really go off the O of ghost. They really punch that O. And apparently there's a G in it when you pronounce it in Japanese because they were saying it sushimiga, something like that. So anyway, a little bit of Fall Guy.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I think I know why there's a ga, but that it's not in the name. it's something they're adding afterwards.
Ah, okay. And played a little bit of Fall Guys, nowhere near as much as Keegan, and I have not gotten a win. I have gotten to the final round several times, but never pull it off.
All right, so I'm gonna be the clueless dad, mom,
Old guy.
old person. What is Fall Guys? I've seen it everywhere and I've seen the memes, but I've not watched any of it, and I know nothing about it. What the heck is Fall Guys?
So think of the obstacle courses from what was the Nickelodeon show with the slime and the
Gacked?
Yeah, there was anyway. So it's like it's set up like it's a TV show, right? So it's 5-ish usually rounds of obstacle courses and ridiculous games. So like one is a giant level of nothing but endless seesaws.
Yep.
And, you have to try to get through this obstacle course with the board with the somebody jumps on this end and all of a sudden completely messes up your jump and and so there's eliminations every round. It's either so many people really have to be eliminated either by not crossing the finish line or by falling off into a slime or so it's like this goofy obstacle course based game show, except everybody playing it is a physics defiant drunken SEMA.
Yep. Jumping makes you fall more than not.
It's like everybody was forced to chug a bottle of Jack and then try to run these obstacle courses.
So how many people are in these rounds?
60 at the start.
Of 60.
So you guys are playing a battle
It's a battle royale.
It's a battle royale with
but it's set up like a game show with multiple rounds,
obstacle courses.
So you survive each round and to get to the final challenge.
So I'm sure I will greatly enjoy it when I do finally sit down and play it.
It's horrible. It's terrible, but it
works in its favor.
It works. Yeah, it's like this game.
It's like it's terrible on purpose.
Right. It's like this game could have easily gone either way. It either could have bombed horrifically or become what it did and just been this like overnight phenomenon. It lucked out and got the phenomenon thing, and the Twitter account is, as the kids maybe still say, lit. I don't know who's running that thing, but they are brilliant. And it's just that they're really engaged and everything. And I mean, yeah, they've had some tough times. They did not expect this game to take off like it did, even though they gave it to free for everyone on PS
right.
Plus, right?
Which is
Rocket League. Anybody? So it's so far it's got a really good success story going for it. It is literally a pick up and play. Anyone can do it. Everyone will get mad because there will be dumb things that happen during the round where you're
the
like,
grab this is so variable.
So I have many questions here.
Okay.
First off, is it one player per PlayStation 4 or can you have multiple people playing?
No, one per.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And online only, I take it then.
Yep. Online
Okay.
only.
Okay. Those are my myriad of questions, the two I have.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
And then it's got you're in a season right now, so just like the seasons of, I don't know if the seasons are going to be free or purchased going forward.
Mm-hmm.
But like season 1, so as you get experience, you're unlocking costumes and colors and different stuff, right? Everybody got a legendary, so it's not really legendary because everybody got it for the server problems. That was their compensation for server problems. Was, well, everybody that had been played since launch. There you go. It's got that. But yeah, it's not good, and I can't imagine these people that are streaming it for hours at a time how they ever do it. I can play for about an hour, and a round lasts what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Well, 10 minutes if you get all the way to like the 5th round.
Yeah, Mommy was saying sometimes it takes up to half an hour.
Really?
That's what Mommy said.
Okay, it doesn't seem like they keep that long.
It does have that kind of feeling of like I could have done better, and it kind of has that addictive property to it.
Right,
I think that's why
I almost made it. I could have done that, and it is really a spectator game too. I mean, I swear, my daughter and my wife have more fun watching the game than we have playing it. So I
My
think that's
sister
the,
loves me suffering.
oh yes, she loves to drink his tears of pain, especially when it's the soccer game.
Yep.
Because there are some games like if you get to
Team.
so far in there and they haven't eliminated enough people yet, they'll throw you in a team game. So it's automatically, whether it's a 3-team, it'll delete a third of you, or if it's
Right.
a what 2 and 2, it deletes half of them, right? So with you know you've been doing too good as a collective group when they throw you into a team one, because there you go, you're getting whacked and you don't have a lot of control over that, right? A lot of it's just the group you get
Luck of the draw.
and the luck of oh hey, I did that 3 times and it's work. I tried to do it the 4th time and it didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fun little goofy thing. But yeah, I could see it having that. It's got kind of that same Rocket League element to it, where it's just this kind of thing out of nowhere, and a bunch of people got it for free and said, "Well, I'll try it." And but I mean, even on the platforms it didn't go free on, PC and Xbox and stuff, it's still taken off on there too. So,
Well, good for them.
yeah, and they're a little. What are they? I think it's a little. It's a European studio. I want to say it's out of like Cambridge, but I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah.
Which would be England, but anyway.
Right.
So then I've also been playing Ys, spelled YS, Memories of Salsetta. That's a reissuance of the remake of the 2 parts that are Ys 3. It's pretty straight up Ys. It's action RPG. Ys is potentially, arguably, the or among the first of the action RPG games. It's a really old series. This was on Vita. This remake was originally on Vita, and it's now, might have originally been on PSP, but definitely on Vita. And they might ported it to PS4. Mitchell got it, and he really wanted me to try it out and play it, and so I've been playing it. It's fun. It's weird because I have fun playing it, but I get drowsy playing it. It's weird. It's like I can only play it for so long because I just get tired.
That's like Diablo for me. I fall asleep playing Diablo. I love it.
But it's like, it's fun. I like it. But yeah, it just for some reason just gets me. Okay. Yep, time to do something else. Which leads to the other things we've been doing. I know there's been more. Did the last time we talked, had we watched Spirited Away?
Oh, no. You didn't talk about
so
that.
we watched Spirited Away. That was my first time seeing it front to end. I've seen like the whole movie in chunks out of order, but I'd never seen it from beginning straight through to end. It's a good little story, It's very what it is, but it's very, very Ghibli, and it's got the old lady with the big face, because every Ghibli movie's got to have the old lady with the big face. So yeah, it was good. Boys both enjoyed it. Then we watched Total Recall the next week, the Schwarzenegger version.
Okay, thank God. I was going to be like, which one are we talking about? Yeah.
Yes, no, the Schwarzenegger. Give them the air. So yeah, I think they both enjoyed it. They told me they did at least, but
yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I was expecting based off the short little trailer they have in Netflix.
Yeah. The auto trailer did not do it any benefit, but yeah, I was amazed just going back and watching the blue screen, green screen work on that is really good, and the miniatures and prosthetics in that are just crazy. And the transitioning from like miniatures onto set, that was for the period, that was amazingly well done. A really solid old film. And then last week we watched Train to Busan, which is a Korean zombie movie. That's kind of downplaying what it is, but
long story short, that's what it is.
Long story short, it's a Korean zombie movie that happens on a train for the most part. But it's also a relationship, it's about a broken relationship between a father and a daughter, and in a broken family, and all this stuff that happens. Meanwhile, zombies.
Yep.
And a train. So yeah, it's really good. It's really, really, really good. It is disappointing to hear the sequel that just recently came out in Korea is pretty much just a brain dead zombie flick this time,
Oh.
because that's kind of disappointing to hear. But
Mhm.
um,
You're killing
But,
me. Have you guys not watched Hamilton yet? I know you have Disney Plus.
yes, we watched Hamilton.
Oh,
I
okay.
have not. I had to go to
Keegan
work.
did not. Keegan was working. The rest of us did. Um, not no, did not live up to the hype. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
A couple of things. I'm not a fan of the all sung musicals. To me, I need that breakup of conversation and singing. It's not like the singing overwhelms me. It's just I don't like that format.
It just doesn't feel like a cohesive story.
It just doesn't work for me. It never has. And you know, they have some really impressive stage work, really impressive costumes, really impressive choreography. He casting himself as the main character was a mistake. He does not do a good job at that role, in my opinion. But the guy that played Lafayette slash uh,
Um,
his rival,
yeah.
brain not working. Anyway,
It's
that
not
guy, he was
Adams.
brilliant.
Yeah, he's very good.
Oh, yeah, he's brilliant. I like the guy when he was playing I forgot everybody's name already. The first character he played, not Madison. I didn't like him as Madison.
Oh, but you
generally have a
liked him
problem-
as the cobbler or the
as the
Taylor.
Mason or whatever he was. Yeah, Taylor. Yeah, but I generally don't like that when you have the same character playing two major roles, same actor playing two major roles. I mean, I know it helps keep the cast small, but it just, especially the one that the one that played his kid that played the other of the original group, that was so obvious. It's like it was impossible to like mask him. At least the other two, like I didn't realize till the credits that the guy playing Lafayette was the same as the other character, right? I didn't, because he changed, let his hair out, he changed so much of his personality and everything, and the way he was presented. I didn't catch that one. The other two I caught right away, and that kind of just is a breaking of the illusion for me, So it wasn't bad. It was way longer than they needed to be. I mean, yes, I get it. He's not gonna give up his shot, and he gives up his shot and he dies. I get it. Okay, come on, come on, just we got it. All right. But
So you're saying
whatever,
nine out of 10 Gamersledge.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't. I mean, I don't regret watching it, but I didn't get it, and especially I know a lot of people that really, really, really enjoy it, and it just did not click. And not everything's going to, right? I mean, it's not
Right.
it's not wrong, but it's just
No.
didn't click.
Well, it did. He just raised his gun in the air.
In the air,
Yeah.
So
What
yeah,
else?
so then that's it. That's all I got. I've been keeping up on comics. The Empire run is actually pretty good. You get used to event books kind of being throwaway. I'm sure they'll throw it all away 2 issues of every book after it happens, but in terms of what they're doing right now, it's actually really good. I have not been liking the current run on Amazing Spider-Man up till this new arc that they just started. They're actually kind of making it a horror story. Not in any way the same like Last Hunt, but similar kind of feel to it.
Spider-Man in and of itself is a horror story.
Blah blah blah. So see where this goes. It's a Sin Eater story. They're reviving a Sin Eater for this. So
Got it.
Makes it interesting. Hopefully this is Nick Spencer's last arc, but I'm sure it isn't. And then that's and Immortal Hulk continues to be amazing.
No, Immortal.
And Immortal and Thor. I haven't read the latest Thor, so I've heard it got pretty crazy. And the last Venom. Venom's been
Well,
really,
I
really
can't
good.
say anything if you haven't read the latest Thor, but I don't like what they're doing. That's all I got to say. I
Yeah, wait.
do not like what they're doing.
Yeah. so I'll get caught up on that. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Let's see. I too have played Ghost of Tsushima. I have not beat it. I have not platinumed it. I have run into the same issue I have with every open world game that I pick up and play, is that I get distracted by something else shiny after playing it for about 30 to 40 hours, and I have not returned. Doesn't mean I
How
don't
far
want
did
to.
you get?
I still didn't finish Act 1.
Oh wow. Okay.
I mean, I don't think I've finished Act 1. I
I mean,
saved
Act 1 is the largest by far, but yeah.
I saved her brother, and he was working on the thing for me to scale the walls, and that's about where I.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you're still in Act 1 then. Yeah.
Yeah. So, again, I love the game. Like, I would like if I was going to put I haven't with the huge disclaimer, I have not finished the game. I would put a 9 out of 10 on it. I mean, there's goofy stuff in it, like things that don't work, and but every game, it's a game, whatever. And they're doing so much in it, I don't care, and it's so pretty, I don't care. I don't know why they keep trying to bury me in leaves, but I don't mind that either. It's pretty.
Yes, it is.
And do I get upset about the fact that kunai were not used as throwing weapons? Yes, but who cares? It's pretty and it's fun, and it's one of those games that you pick up and you can tell immediately, oh, this is going to be a fun game. And so that's all I really care about. Like, I don't care about finishing it, right? I would like to finish it. Am I going to feel gypped if I don't finish it? No. I am planning to go back to it eventually, just not right now because I got distracted by other things. Like DC Universe Online, which is now 9 years old, and I have not played for like 6 years. And I went back to it, and this is all Ken's fault. And because I got dragged back into it, now Drogodan and Daniel are playing it. And not only did Daniel drag his kids into it, every person in his house now, except for his wife, is playing DC Universe Online. We have like 13 people playing the game. And it's kind of crazy. But they've made a lot of significant updates and changes. They've consolidated a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm actually like this close to platinuming it, which will be like my 5th MMO platinum trophy, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Which is so dumb. But, entertaining to me in some weird way. But yeah, I'm really close. I've got to get 2 characters to 30, which is actually the easiest part of the game now. So I'm going to work on doing that. Most
I don't know how you haven't gone to Final Fantasy 14 at this point yet. I mean, it's like...
So I can't play it for the same reason as Diablo. I fall asleep playing it. It is so mind-numbingly boring to me and rote that I just fall asleep.
Huh.
I gave it the old college try about, I think, 8 months ago. Nope. I just do not have the patience for it. I don't know why either. It's just one of those things. I start playing it and I fall asleep, and then I'm done. But yeah, been playing a lot of DCUO. They've made a lot of good changes to it. Some interesting. They've done the reverse Destiny where they used to have 9 billion different currencies in the game, and they've reduced it down to pretty much 3. So that's been interesting because it's allowed for stuff, and they just dropped new content with a multiverse of Wonder Women in a patchwork Themyscira, and you have to go help them try and like actually pretty much murder all the gods. So it's kind of interesting because the gods are suddenly, well, they're somewhat caught up with DC Comics. Like the source wall is down, and that's what's causing all this problem. Like the gods' base of power is crumbling, and they're trying to hoard the power away from Earth and its heroes, and Earth and its heroes are saying, GTFO gods, and we're gonna use this stuff for ourselves. So it's kind of interesting. Been having a lot of fun playing it, so there's that. Those are all discussion topics. Let's get into the other thing that I was surprised to see you playing last week, Mr. Matt, because it means you had to have pre-ordered it. The Marvel...
Nope. Because last week it was open beta, just like this week.
No, last week was only...
Last week was open. Last week was PS4 open.
No,
I know, because I did not pre-order it. This
That's
weekend is also open, but it's open for all platforms.
Oh, that's so weird because they said it was only.
Yeah, they've switched it so many times.
Yeah, they did. They've switched the start times every time. I was like, geez. Oh yeah. So, anyways, impressions, thoughts. Are you gonna buy it?
No. It's not bad.
Nope.
I thought, you spend the most time with Hulk and Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel. They played fine. Hulk does need some tweaking. I agree with what you said before. Hulk is
the weakest
off.
Avenger.
But he also looks off, right? I mean, he does, when in the beginning, he's a full green, regular size Hulk. And when you take over him later, he's kind of like sickly green and bruised. And so there's something wrong with him. He's not at full power there. So, I mean, I get it, but he's too slow. Kamala's stronger than he is with her triangle attacks or, heavy attacks. So there's, it's a little off, but, like Ken said, once you get him built up. There you go. That's the word. I think, built up a bit, he's better, which makes sense, obviously. And obviously Kamala is going to be a feature character because they've got her kind of as the center of things, right?
And she's well balanced, surprisingly.
Yeah, no, and you can see the elements of where the Spider-Man mechanics are going to fit in with, some of the things she does. You can kind of see where they're going to fit in when they patch it or when they bring him in later. But, it wasn't bad, but once it got past the constructed story stuff and you're just into doing the drops and the different things, I didn't play the Hulk specific story mission. I didn't realize that was there until it was like too late and I didn't have time to get back to it. But so that may have been better, but just doing those little things did nothing for me. And I know you're going to have to do them a billion times, and I got bored. I got bored with it doing the little bit that I did from the beta. Now having more characters accessible so you can kind of mix up what you do. Yeah, maybe that'll make it better, but I'm still going to be blowing up 4 generators over and over and over again. And I'm going to be guarding this stupid circle on the ground over and over and over again. And, oh yeah, by the way, that one where you have to steal the codes or whatever, or hack the computer, and the AI does not help you capture the zones at all, and you're trying to keep at least 2 of the zones in your control at any given time so that, you don't lose. That was incredibly frustrating.
Well, it's much better with friends.
And I've heard that it's better with people, but again, it's more about the hanging out with people and yapping and stuff than it is that the game is actually good, right? It's just the game is just something you're doing while you're hanging out. And for me, I don't get online enough, right? By the time I got a character to level 2, you and the other guys would all be everybody prestiged 8 times, and and by the time Spider-Man drops, you guys will have moved on to their 6th game since then. So for me, there's no real benefit, right? And
well, so
if there was local co-op, maybe, but again, the kids are going back to college, so even that, right? Yeah, you have a ghost dog.
Yeah, he's like phasing in and out behind my head, and he's like looking at me like, "Why do I gotta move? I was so comfy there." Yeah, sorry, buddy. Lay down. It's kind of like you got an ugly baby, right? Nobody wants to say you got an ugly baby, but it's an ugly baby. And it's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with the baby. It's just ugly. And I don't mean that the graphics are bad. I mean that every criticism you just leveled at it is 100% right. And also, I don't care. Like, I'm going to get it because we're going to play with friends. That doesn't mean that your viewpoint is invalid or anything you said is invalidated. Right. I fully agree with you. It's going to be chasing numeric stats. I mean, it's Destiny. It's every other friggin' game that's out right now. And it's like, I can not do it, or I can play a Marvel game. And the parts where they did let you control like Thor and Cap, those seemed better to me than, I will say that I actually enjoy Iron Man because he has a very wide breadth of combinations that he can do.
Some effective range melee combos and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean that, and then switching between rockets, repulsors, and lasers. Right. That's something else that you can do on the fly, and that's kind of interesting. So I've actually been enjoying playing Iron Man. Black Widow is fine, but, if you have Black Widow punching a robot, and you have Hulk punching the robot, and Hulk...
You both take 3 heavies to take out the robot.
Right. Yeah, then something's wrong. And that's where... I don't know how they fix that, right? And that's why I say it's definitely an ugly baby. And, it's going to be a live service. I still think they're going to make $1 bajillion off of it regardless. And people will play it or not play it, as the case may be. Just like Anthem, they'll buy it and they'll make good joodles of money, and then nobody will continue to play the live service model, and they'll make changes from there. I'm hoping that as they go, they'll tweak things so that it's... Basically, every fear that every person had about this game was justified and correct. But, that being said, the graphics don't look like ass anymore, like they did to begin with, and they look good now. And if I buy it now, then I get it on PlayStation 5 anyways.
Yep. And
it's gonna have Spider-Man and more characters as it goes, so there's a reason to go back to it every once in a while. Once the initial shine is worn off, and it's something that a bunch of my friends are getting, and so that's. I mean, games don't have to be art. It's a short answer.
No, right.
And I totally get why you're not buying it, 100%. And I would generally be like, yeah, Matt, don't buy this, unless you really want to play Spider-Man. And that might be the reason. By the time Spider-Man comes out, maybe there'll be a reason for you to buy it. But, no reason to buy it now, for sure. Get it on a discount or something.
Yeah. I could see, maybe after the first couple of content drops and they get some bugs worked out and they streamline some things, and you can get it for $30. Might be worth it.
But, for me, I'm obsessive compulsive anyways, and the ability to have a Hulk that's dressed as Mr. Fix-It is by far and away one of the biggest selling points of the game for me, because that's never been done in a game before. And it's dumb, but it's also my money, and I don't mind paying it.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
There's people buying chicken costumes for Fall Guys. It doesn't do anything.
Right. It doesn't do anything. Hey, he looks like a chicken. But yeah, I think it's. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're gonna tweak it over time. It's Crystal Dynamics. I generally. Square and Crystal Dynamics have done right by me over the years, so I don't mind giving them a little faith money, I guess is the way to put it. I'm not happy with the game how it plays either, and I want to be clear about that, but I'm also not like, oh, this game sucks or anything like that. It's just like right down the middle of the road,
it doesn't suck, it's just not
great
right for me now.
It is. I'm curious to see how many people it's not right for at launch, because that's really going to be the overall barometer of whether they need to start making changes immediately, or if they can do a couple contents and then gradually change things over time. Because if the thing flops on day one and only a million people purchase it, then I think they're going to make changes real quick, since we all know that Square Enix barometer of a successful game is a minimum of 5 million copies on day one. So, yeah. Good God, I couldn't imagine working under that kind of pressure. Okay, so that is everything that I have played. I have watched nothing because my wife has been out of town, and so I've been mostly playing things. So, with that being said, I think that brings us to... I gotta watch the time. Okay. That brings us to conversation point number 1. You may have noticed the beautiful Golden Gate is behind me. This is the last week for that to be the case. I am leaving San Francisco. I'm moving Gamersledge away from San Francisco. San Francisco is a very weird place right now.
It's a weird place before. Now it's extremely weird.
Yeah, now it's really weird. It's actually not the same place anymore, and I don't think it will be the same place for quite some time, especially as California is so dramatically been hit by COVID. I went to the Ferry Building. I've been trying to get. We have this tourist loop that we do when people come to visit here, and I've been trying to get drone footage and camera footage of the various places. And Matt, we went to the Ferry Building when you were here, right?
Yep.
No one in it. I was the only person in the Ferry Building.
Oh wow.
The only person, and that was on a Wednesday. So I don't know how those shops are going to continue to make it.
Right.
So much stuff is already closed. I mean, you go to a lot of places in the city and they're just boarded up. And it's not a case of, I don't know if they're going to open or not again. I don't know if they're still open or around, but it's very weird. And the cost of living has not gone down at all. So, it's still ridiculously expensive to rent office space. And there's all these companies that are here that have nobody in them, and they're paying for these office spaces. It's crazy. So we're going somewhere else, and I'll have more details on that over time. But for this next week, we will do Monday and Tuesday's broadcast. Monday being the Divisionary Divinity, Tuesday being the Rifts campaign, Freedom for the Borderlands. But then we will be off the air for the remainder of the week, as I am moving everything by myself, right? And Daniel's coming up to help me, so that's helpful. Nice. But he's just driving more than anything else, and we're gonna drive where we're going, and then from there.
Packing up a U-Haul or then or
no, we have movers coming, but they're gonna pack most of the stuff, but I'm packing the stuff we're actually gonna use. So, and then he and I are taking that stuff, and the movers are taking the other stuff, and I don't know if we're gonna meet them there or they're going to beat us there, depending. We'll see. But that's the goal, is we'll head out after that. And should be back online, theoretically, assuming I can get everything wired and connected, the following week. So theoretically, we should be good to go. But we'll see. So there's that. There's the State of the Union on that. Baldur's Gate 3. So Baldur's Gate 3 did finally announced this week. Their early access is dropping September 30th. It will have 4-player co-op. You're still in for this, right, Matt?
I wasn't planning on
it. That's fine. I'll find 4. I think I've got 4, but I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so they're saying that you can get up to level 4, and they're saying that there will probably be between 3 and 5 classes available in the early access build, but they have not finalized it yet. They did,
and that's obviously going to change over time since early access is going to last at least a year.
Right. They could always release more content for early access. They said that there's roughly about 40 hours in the content of gameplay in the content they're releasing. Wow. Which, we're going to finish it, and then we'll run it again, then we'll run it again, and then we'll run it again. Yeah. So I'm pretty excited about all this, and that's dropping on September 30th. No word on what the early access price is. I'm imagining it's going to be $60, the full cost of the release. I'm totally fine with that. PC only. So that was the big announcement this week. Did blow my mind a little bit to see Sven in his chainmail talking with Chris Perkins, the DM extraordinaire and lore master. That was kind of surreal but fun. And then let's see, Xbox delays Halo Infinite. I mean,
not surprising.
I just have to say, Xbox Studios, you had one job, one game, one job, and
they screwed up.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've heard some things since then that the way the studios are managed is a very Microsoft approach,
mhm,
and it's not the way like Sony handles it, right?
right.
And it just it's not that it's bad or it's wrong. It's just very different, and
Mhm.
it lends itself to situations like this where if you had a more strong central leadership on it, there might have been some adjustments that were made earlier that could have avoided the situation. But games get delayed. I mean, it happens,
Yeah,
right? And
no,
it
absolutely.
rarely is it a bad thing. It's just bad in the sense of the timing for their system launch. But you can already tell they don't care about the Series X. They don't care about it.
Yeah, and I have been told that we will be having a Xbox One Series X.
No, not one, just
Oh,
Xbox Series
Xbox
X.
Series
You
X.
keep on
God,
you keep on throwing
I'm
that
never
one in
gonna
there.
get it. I'm never gonna get their naming structure. I'm never gonna get it.
Now you know how I feel about cars. I don't know the difference between the Mercedes 357 and the 426 and the 938, and I'm just making the numbers up. I have
It's
no
it's
idea if
the
that's
person throwing the lemon and it just bounces off my head because I don't even try to catch it. That's yeah. All I know is it will murder a small child if it falls on them from the top of my entertainment center. That's all I
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yes, yes, it will.
The Xbox Death Machine. Yes, I will have
Although
one. Go
yeah,
ahead. No, go ahead.
I am intrigued, and I've been watching the last 2 weeks. I swore that I knew when the announcement was going to be made, and every week since then, I'm like, it's got to be this week. It's got to be this week. It's got to be this week. I'm to the point now where it's got to be next week. But it's just been hilarious because I've got this little bit of conspiracy theorist there that about half the leaks that come out aren't leaks, they're
They're
official
water
leaks.
testing. Yeah.
Right. And
Market
it just
research.
reminds right. It just reminded because I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima, and it just reminds me of the standoffs. You got the Mongol there going, here's my price, here's my day, here's my day. And Sony's just standing there going, Fall Guys.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you look at the blog post, it's like the blog post that came out right after the price leak was like, here's a remake of a 16-bit game that you didn't know was coming that's launching next week.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's just like there is no parity between what the two are doing. It's just but I really do feel that it's gotten to the point though that whoever finally decides to jump in and just do it has got to get good guy points at this point, right? Like it's got to be looked at as a positive thing that you finally said something, even if the next guy comes and undercuts you. The PS4 did not take off as it did because it was at a lower price point. Sure, that helped, but it was all messaging. I mean, that is what had them take off and go the way they did, is they managed the message way better than Microsoft did.
Well, they've still managed the message better in this instance, but they're totally facepalming in terms of why can't they just release the date and price? What is going on? I mean, dude, it's almost September.
Yep.
I mean,
tweeting, everything's going according to plan.
Yeah, I'm like, no, there's no plan. You haven't given consumers any time to start saving money for this thing. I mean, yes, there's those of us that are obsessive compulsive and like do our envelopes. Yeah, sure, okay, but that's not everybody by far, and especially folks who are making closer to the median of the country. Yeah, I know. Is that your envelope?
This may or may not contain all of the money for all the PS5 buying requirements.
Nice.
Okay, I know what you steal.
Yeah, that was not smart.
Yeah, you gotta find it first.
Yeah. But yeah, I they've got to do it soon. They have to do it soon. I don't know what else they can. It's crazy. Oh, I'm sorry. I played one other game. I forgot. The Bless Unleashed closed beta. It was whelming.
That reminds me from
9 out of
I don't
10,
even
Jim.
remember what movie it is or what it is, but someone's why is it always over or underwhelming? Why can't anything just be whelming?
Yeah. Well, it was whelming. If I've hit
More or
level,
less whelming than Avengers.
oh, by far less.
Oh, okay.
In terms of that comparison, it was underwhelming. In terms
Okay.
of, it pretty, yes. Physics are good, no. I mean, it's one of those ones where you're running on the ground, but the ground is moving at a different speed than your character is running, so it looks like they're sliding slightly. It's a what I like to call a fighting action RPG, meaning that it's like R1 circle circle circle. It's basically you're doing fighting game inputs as the it's there. It didn't not work, but it also wasn't very entertaining or fun. There was no like, wow, I feel powerful or anything like that. It was okay. These are the moves. Oh, I killed it. Okay. Oh, I just died. Not sure why. Okay. Um, you know, like I said, if you ain't got your hooks into me by the time I hit level 5, then there's not a lot of staying power for me for that.
Yeah, I mean, is it stuff you think they could fix, or is it just the base premise is just not there?
I mean it's absolutely fine. Let me make sure this is an emergency. Hold on. My wife just texted me something obscene, so I'm not really sure. I'm thinking it's an
Only on
auto.
live TV.
I'm thinking it's an autocorrect fail. Uh, I'm,
She actually meant ducks, not the other word.
yeah, well, if it wasn't that one, so that's why I'm really confused as to what she was trying to say. But yeah, it just so this game already exists on Xbox One. It is a reverse MMO in the fact that it came out on console first, is being ported to another console now, and goes to PC last in 2021.
Interesting.
This story is fine. The game design, in my humble opinion, sucks ass because it is the old school design where everybody gets the same quest, and oh look, there's 27 other people in this area who have the same quest I do, and we're all trying to pick up that same thing. That is super outdated.
Wow.
And yeah, it's super outdated, and the wrong way to go about gameplay design, because that does not make for a fun environment. And that's all I had for 5 levels. So I was pretty much done after. I think we played an hour and a half on the stream. Well, I take that back. I think the stream was an hour and a half. The servers were down for maintenance directly after I made my character for 30 minutes. So that was very anticlimactic as well, because I finally pressed OK, and then it went, oh, servers just died. We'll be back up in 30 minutes. I'm like, yay, closed beta. So yeah, that was that. You have to get a code from them in order to participate. If you really want to check out the beta, it's just through the 24th. You can get one by going to mmorpg.com and signing up to be a member of their site. They'll give you a free key. Doesn't cost anything. They don't spam you. They're a pretty decent site anyways. So there's that. How are we doing on time? All right. Let's. The other thing that I played actually leads directly into one of our other talk points, and that is I managed to square away after finishing the Marvel Avengers beta. I of course got the Hulk Knuckles for Fortnite, so I wanted to pop into Fortnite and see what that looked like, and it was amusing because I've got Captain America using the Hulk Knuckles, so that's pretty amusing. Not gonna lie.
So when you get those things, when they have those events like the Deadpool and the Captain America and stuff, are those still valid after the event, or do those only usable during the event?
Great question. So the short answer is once you buy them, they are yours forever, except in the case of Deadpool, you had to earn the right. Yeah, you earned the normal Deadpool by you had to purchase. I think you had to purchase the battle pass. So that's that. So in that sense, you're still kind of paying for it. But once you got the battle pass, then that unlocked a set of challenges for you to do. Actually, I don't know if you did have to buy the. You know what? My Aquaman is the same way, so I'm pretty sure you do have to buy the battle pass. And then you generally those big name ones you earn them through completing weird quests in the battle pass, in ways that you would normally never think to play the game. To be honest, and it's actually kind of fun to do. Whereas everybody else is over here trying to kill each other, you're over here trying to make a sandcastle on the beach. I'm not joking. It's stuff like that for sure, for real. That's one of the things you have to do for Aquaman. But if you wanted Deadpool's X-Force, the gray costume, then you just buy that as a outfit, and yes, it's yours forever. The downside is that you can easily amass more costumes than you can ever actually set in your thing, because I think there's only 6 saved costume slots, and then you have a opportunity to set them to random. So like I have Psylocke, Domino, X-Force, Deadpool, Cap, and then a couple, like 6 or 7 other costumes from the in-game lore that I like. And so it's like I can never wear them all at the same time, even setting them to random. I'll only cycle between whatever 6 I have saved. So that's the only downside. But yes, you get to keep them forever and use them forever. So then that brings us to the dispute between Epic and Apple and Google. And I love that Google is like just getting to skate completely free out of this conversation, even though Epic sued them for the exact same reason that they sued Apple. I think that this may actually be something that you and I are in complete agreement on in terms of who's in the right and who's in the wrong on this. But I am curious because I could be horribly wrong. Now, if you're not familiar, basically what's happened is Google and Apple have their own ecosystems for purchasing apps in their app stores for their devices. So you've got the iOS store on Apple and you've got the Google Play store on Android devices. And if I'm a developer and I want access to Apple's 10 gazillion devices in the world, or I want access to Google's 10 gazillion Android users in the world, then if I put my app up on their store, then I have to pay a percentage cut of all my sales to that person. And if you sign up for recurring subscription, well, then the respective ecosystem gets their cut taken out of that as well. So if I sell something for $10 as a monthly fee for my service or game on the iOS platform, then I'm paying $3.33 to Apple. And if I'm doing it on the Google Play Store, I believe it's roughly the same $3 or so that I'm paying to Google for that. And Epic said, we don't want to pay this no more because it's stifling growth and competition. And so they put into Fortnite a way for people to buy directly from Epic rather than so that they didn't get the $3.33 slice having to be paid to Google and Apple. And both Apple and Google said, oh, hell no, and shut off their access to the ecosystems. And Apple has been a little bit more aggressive about it in that they have actually now said that if they don't stop what they're doing, that they will lose future development access to iOS, which means that the Epic game engine will no longer function properly on iOS platforms, which would affect not just
They
Epic.
won't have access to Xcode or the
Right.
Xdev or any of
Right.
those tools, because they'll disable their developer accounts.
Yep. And that then not only affects Epic, but it affects everyone who's used the Epic engine to code something for iOS, which means that, which if you think about, well, I'll get into that in a minute, but I am curious where you stand on this issue, Matt.
It's a hard one in terms of just blatantly who's right, who's wrong, Matt's opinion in the world. I do think that Apple and Google have enjoyed a level of taxation that is excessive, and somebody needed to try to take them down a notch. I do think that's been a bit oppressive. I mean, that's pretty, 30%. I think Google's 25, I think, but that's pretty hefty. I mean, we're talking, we're looking at potentially for work having a 25% a license increase, and everybody's losing their brains, right? I mean, it's the same, it's basically the same thing. You have to take the price you can make money off of, add 25% to it, and then or 30% to it, and that's what you sell it for, right? I mean, if you're looking to make money, that's what you have to do. Normally on your, $1, $2 song transactions, it's percentage based, right? So it's not, it's still a 30% chunk, but it's not, you're not talking the same dollar values, but it's still frustrating. So I do think it's cool that Epic has taken them to task on this. Unfortunately, I'm sure they signed to something somewhere that said that they would play by the rules of the playground, and they decided to not play by the rules of the playground. So I can't say what Apple did is wrong. I think they could have gone about it a heck of a lot better than they did. And, like you said, Google's kind of skated by on this. I honestly don't know exactly what the interchange between Google and Epic has been for this. I know they've had the same legal exchange, but they've managed to stay out of the spotlight. So I don't really know what negotiations are going on in the background there. Whereas Apple's definitely drawn a line in the sand and said, you shall not pass, and we're gonna shoot ourselves in the foot, and you in the foot, and everybody in the foot, and we don't care because we've got $2 trillion sitting in the basement next to Steve Jobs' dead body.
Wow. Wow. The funny part for me is we actually came down on opposite sides that I thought we would. Mark's opinion is Epic is completely in the wrong on this because, if Epic wants to build its own ecosystem of a gazillion users, then go do it. You don't have to be in Apple or Google's ecosystem. And just like you said, they signed a thing saying they were gonna go with the rules. Nobody's holding a gun to their head saying you must be on iOS. I mean, it's in their best interest for them to be on iOS, in my opinion, because it makes them more money, because more people have the device in their hands, same as Android, than not. But I think Apple's, you're right, they're doing a hardline tactic, but I think it's smart because now that they've brought the Epic engine into the conversation, then Epic is going to get pressure from its developers to say, you got to stop this because this is my livelihood you're dinking around with, not just, Fortnite, right, who's already made almost as much money as is next to Steve Jobs' dead body.
Yeah. No, I get that. And I can respect that position because I get it. I'm a rule follower. That's kind of my mentality, right? You signed the document. You said you're not going to do this. I'm assuming, and again, this is a huge assumption on my part, that there have been longstanding negotiations in the background where Epic's like, come on, guys, we're bringing in gajillions of dollars to you guys. We're getting gajillions of dollars. Hook us up. Give us a preferred rate or something.
So
like
that's
that, right?
That's actually something that came out today.
Is it? Okay, I missed that.
That Apple has said, we don't do special deals for, that would be unfair. So we charge everybody the same flat rate. And then they produced 3 emails from the CEO, Tim Sweeney of Epic, saying, come on, guys, give us a special deal. we're bringing in $1 billion on the iOS store, and we want to make our own store. So
like a official third party store on the device.
and so this suddenly does not, in my opinion, does not look good for Epic, who's saying we want this for all developers. And granted, they did say that at the end, but most of the thing was saying how that they should have a special sidebar rate. And I'm like, oh, okay, we'll see how that flies in court. But I don't understand. I think Epic was boneheaded in their attack on Apple with the whole 1984 thing.
That was a bit much.
You have a
funny, but a bit much.
You have a dispute like this, it's not going to do good for anybody. I don't know how they're going to. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what kind of a grand PR scheme they come up with whenever this is resolved one way or another. Because you gotta think that Apple is never going to be happy with Epic ever again.
Probably not. I mean, that they have a long memory. I mean, Epic must feel like they have something. I mean, they're not dumb. They're not just a bunch of crazy half-cocked people out there. So they've got to have some lawyer, some legal team somewhere telling them they've got a leg to stand on somehow. And I don't know if they're going to try and go with some sort of old FTC rules or some FCC rules on something of.
Basically, they're looking for a leg to stand on to get the EULA invalidated. That's the only way that they can, because it's anti-competition or something like that. That's the only way I can see this coming out in their favor. So that's going to be really weird. But it'll be kind of like I've got my popcorn.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because I mean, if they do win, that shifts the landscape huge.
100%. 100%.
They're basically looking to turn the managed garden devices into a PC like environment, right?
Which I still question whether or not a court of law is educated enough to understand both the rulings and the ramifications of rulings they make on this.
Not even close.
Probably not.
Because it's just such a nightmare. Hooray! Yeah. I have to get in my one quick word about wrestling because
it will be quick because Dave's not here.
Well, yeah, it'll be quick because Dave's not here. So we did not do a Smart Mark AEW Dynamite review this week because there was no AEW Dynamite this Wednesday. It was preempted by basketball games, so it is airing at 6:05 Eastern Time on Saturday, which is funny because if you know anything about wrestling back in the day on TBS and TNT, back when it was the Superstation, wrestling always aired at 6:05 6:05 Eastern on Saturdays. So it's in its old Mid-South time slot again, which is kind of interesting. But no Dynamite, so I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be able to do a podcast for that this weekend because I will be busy packing. And so there is not... I think there's a 1 hour Dynamite on Wednesday and then a 2 hour Dynamite on Thursday this next week, if I remember correctly. Again, partly because of basketball. So they're preempting it. They're doing like a 1 hour show and then they're preempting the full Dynamite to Thursday. So that's weird also. And then I think the following week, NXT is preempted because of hockey. So that means that AEW will have its first unopposed Wednesday night. So we'll see how it does in the ratings, if it does better than NXT. So, yeah. So that's that. And the other thing is, if you're at your local Walmart and you do happen to see a AEW championship toy belt or any of the AEW figures, scoop them up and put them on eBay because you will make a killing. Because they are sold out practically everywhere. They had a decent print run, but still sold out at almost all stores.
Who's making that?
Who is making that? That is an excellent question you asked, Matt. Who is making the AEW toy action figures? It's all over the commercial, and now I can't think of it. It's the Unrivaled Collection by Wicked Cool Toys.
Nope.
So-
No, not. Dave probably knows though, but I'm not pulling anything up in my brain.
Isn't that the website? Hold on. Wicked Cool Toys. Yeah, it's Jazzwares. Yeah, it's just a sub company of Jazzwares,
Okay.
which I think also does Micro Machines and
Yeah, they had a wrestling line before too, I think.
yeah. So they're also the no, never mind. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, those have been selling like hotcakes. No one's got them in stock. Ken got the belt. I'm super wicked jelly.
So I guess it's safe to say that AEW is successful at this point.
It's beyond it's so even with COVID they are turning a profit, which is
Nice.
when they have no house shows. No gates. There's no live events, no live people. They're still turning a profit, which is, and that's because they just signed. Right before COVID, they signed a 3-year extension on their TV deal, which gives them better ad rates and all that good stuff. And they are delivering 3-to-1 what WWE is delivering in the key demographics.
Wow.
So, and there's a lot of WWE apologists, or I don't know how else to say that are, WWE is the best. It's the lasted the longest. Their style of wrestling is the best, yet they're mostly only attracting 50 plus viewers. So that is a problem. They are failing to make new stars to get younger people interested in the product. And that's a big problem for them. Their numbers, they signed a $2.2 billion deal with Fox. And their goal was to be in the 1.0 range for 18 to 39. They're at 0.5 just like 6 months after signing the deal. So, COVID didn't help with that, but they're not going up. They're going down. Raw on USA is having its lowest ratings ever. Like this last Monday was the 4th lowest rating, and there's competition with like the Democratic debates and stuff. There's stuff going on, but still, it's their 4th lowest rating ever for the key demographics. So, this TV deal will keep them afloat probably forever, but will they be able to renegotiate for the rates that they got this time? Probably not. And so then it becomes, where do they end up? On what station on the dial do they end up? If Fox drops them after this, USA is trapped. They are. Even with it being its 4th lowest ratings, it is by far and away the highest rated thing on the channel. So it's like, that's a one-sided beneficial for USA, and yeah. It's interesting. The business of it is very interesting, but the actual product that WWE is putting out, I haven't been engaged with in a good way in probably, how long ago was it that the store was in existence? 17 years? something like that. 16 years.
Something like that.
Yeah. So that was the last time that I watched and enjoyed a WWE product for the most part. NXT is good, but it still has some of the same problems as the other ones. And it's still also only attracting a much older viewing audience. But
Right.
AEW is doing very well. It is an alternative to WWE. It's not the alternative I was necessarily hoping for. And I don't mean that to sound negative. It is a buffet, and they describe it as such. You know, everybody likes buffets. It's got at least 2 or 3 good things you really like on it, and a lot of stuff that maybe you've never tried before, and maybe you like it, maybe you don't. But it's all there. And that's kind of what they're doing as well. You've got some hardcore matches, you've got some old school Southern style wrestling matches with a lot of ring psychology. You've got the flippy stuff that I very much enjoy, you know, the pure acrobatic side of it. You've got the good guys and the bad guys, and it's pretty clear who's who, and you know the storylines that come along with that. And one thing I do like about AEW is there are almost never any screw job finishes, so you have a real resolution to a storyline every time in the ring, so that's good. But it's fun, and I enjoy it, and most of my friends that are wrestling heads enjoy it, and yeah, they're doing good. They're profitable.
I know we have just one more question, just because I'm curious, and I'm curious about everything. But how has this affected like New Japan and stuff like that? Because like since AEW is all I ever heard about wrestling before AEW was New Japan, New Japan, New Japan, and now it's like I've not heard anything about New Japan since AEW. Well, since Omega left, and then since AEW started.
New Japan has been going along running in its own track, but it was also one of the first ones to shut down for COVID and one of the last ones to reopen for COVID. So they are actually up and running again. They did no audience shows for a little while, and then they actually started putting the audience back in. Now you have to understand that in Japan, the infection rate is way lower. But even so, they are only filling to 1/3 capacity, meaning every 2 seats is empty. And they are asking people, you have to wear a mask, you have to get your temperature checked before you come in, and there is no clapping or cheering allowed. Which sounds like a weird thing, and it is a weird thing, because then suddenly, one of the things that was interesting during this period is wrestlers had to adapt how they worked in the ring, because they were used to being in front of crowds of 10,000 plus.
Playing the crowd.
Playing the crowd, cheering people, etc. You had to do shorter matches with no crowd, and the wrestlers had to be way more vocal, like in their grunts and, you know, as they're taking moves and damage, etc. So the people that adapted to that, kind of you wanted to watch them early because they did that. And so now it's crazy because you have thousands of people in a New Japan arena and they're dead silent. So it's just like they're doing the no crowd. It's so weird. This Friday, actually, on SmackDown, WWE is renting out the Amway Center, and they are putting TVs in all of the stands so that fans will be in virtual attendance. And they're calling it the Thunderdome. And I mean, I'm sure it'll bump ratings for like a week or two, but then people will see it's still kind of the crappy product and then tune out. But I'm interested to see that, because AEW during this has never run an empty arena show. What they did is they took all their wrestlers and put them at ringside, and they were the crowd. And it made a big difference because it sounded like people were there. It doesn't sound like thousands of people are there, but it does sound like, you know, they're booing when they're supposed to boo, they're cheering when they're supposed to cheer, that kind of stuff. Right. Heckling every once in a while. So I'm interested to see if this is successful in terms of the ambiance, because if it is, I expect to see it on AEW shortly, because AEW is not above saying, okay, that's better than what we're doing, let's do it. Whereas the other way, like once AEW put the wrestlers in the crowds, WWE would not do it for like a month and a half. And finally they caved because the ratings just kept dropping and AEW's ratings were going higher and higher. And finally they caved and did it. And this is all Vince. It's all Vince McMahon. He's 80 some odd years old, completely out of touch, and I don't wish anyone ill, but he needs to retire, and he's not going to do that till he dies. So,
Right.
you know, that's the main reason that WWE is in the position it's in right now. Whereas AEW very actively listens to its fans, and they you know, even their CEO Tony Khan, he'll come out and he say, we're always looking at the numbers. You know, if this works, great. If it doesn't work, well, what can we do to try it a little differently and try and, you know, what do the fans think? And they'll actually go out on their Twitter and say, hey, we're thinking about doing something, you know, if you had a choice between this, or this, what would you do? And then they implement it based on the feedback because it's the fans. So it's a very different style of running the company. Right now, you don't hear anyone talking about it sucks to work for AEW. Everybody's like, it's a family, it's great, we have a lot of fun, it's fun to be a wrestler again. And then if you listen to the backstage leaked account of WWE wrestlers, because no one will say it on the record, but if you go to the dirt sheets, they're all like, morale is really far down, you know, this sucks, and storylines are started and dropped within the same week sometimes. It's really, really frustrating for a lot of the wrestlers. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did.
Okay. And by the way, just like I love the video game industry, and I'm fascinated by how it works in the business of it, I'm just as equally fascinated by the wrestling industry as a business, and the fact that it had this layer of, do you know the term kayfabe?
Yeah.
Okay. So it had that layer of kayfabe over it for so many years, to where you weren't allowed to talk about the business. And so people had to piece this stuff together. And now it's out in the open, and wrestling still tries to act like it's not, or at least WWE does. And in Japan, it's really weird because kayfabe still exists.
Right.
Like 100%. It's like, I think people know it's not real, but they don't care. And it's still treated like a real sport. And it's amazing. It's such a completely different experience than watching an American wrestling show. It's crazy. Anyways, I don't want to take up any more of this.
I was impressed that they didn't go the MLB route and put about a bunch of cutouts in the you know, behind the batting box and stuff, you know. So,
I'm thinking that's where Vince got the idea, to be honest. To do to do the panels in the Thunderdome, you know, the LCD panels, and pipe people in. Yeah, I'm
a little bit better than cardboard cutouts, but
yeah. So I don't know if they're going to use Zoom
something
or
that they were using. They were using crowd noise from MLB The Show and pumping it through the sound system.
It's called crowd sweetening, and wrestling has done it for years in post production. I mean, almost every taped show has some amount of crowd sweetening in it. So that it helps get it over. I don't like crowd sweetening, and it drives me nuts when I hear it because I like hearing the actual crowd. And AEW hasn't had to do that almost ever because its crowds are extremely vociferous. But they have been doing it on their tape shows lately, and it's like, every time I hear it.
Like a laugh track.
It is. No, it's if the laugh. Most people don't care about a laugh track, and I get it. But if you're that one person that the laugh track grinds your teeth every time you hear it, that's me with crowd sweetening. Hate it.
Keegan, you still awake?
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay, I'm done asking questions about wrestling.
Okay, no problem. You ask anytime you want. I'll talk about it forever. What else do we have on the old list of El Newso? Let's see. Twitter.com/Gamersledge if you want to keep up to date on all of our news feed topics that we're going to talk about during the show. Let's see. Oh yeah, Kena Bridge of Spirits is not just a PS5 game. It is also launching on the PS4, which I had no idea.
Yeah, they totally botched that in the well, I mean, it was probably on purpose. I mean, there was PS5 focus, but still, Yeah,
so there is a limited time window that if you buy it on PS4, you'll get the free PS5 upgrade. There was no details in that whatsoever, so we don't know what the time frame is or how long you'll have, or we don't even know the launch date of the game, let alone the friggin' system. But yeah, it is coming to PS4 at some point.
And it might be a simul launch too, so it might only matter for those who aren't early adopters.
Oh yeah. Oh, my brain stopped working. The shooting,
He's spasming.
Headbands.
the shooting Souls game. It's not Beyond Two Eternals Souls. Revenant Evil Master. Oh my God.
Something about writhing or writhing or
Revenant. It's Revenant. I'm almost positive. Remnant from the ashes. Wow. I swear to God,
there's nothing about writhing there. But okay.
I swear to God, I've played this game and a lot. So just I was having some kind of stroke or something.
I've seen his PSN account. It's true. He has.
Yeah, I have. Remnant from the Ashes is coming for free to the Epic Games Store for PC. So check that out. I think it is available right now for free.
Next week's, or is that this week?
I think it's this week.
Stand by one.
Watch it be last week. And I'm just
it's not now, and it's not advertised for next week.
So then it must have been the week before. Boo. Well, if you followed us on our Twitter feed, then you got it for free. A new PS5 game was announced during the last State of Play on August 6th. It's called The Pathless, which looked really cool. I don't know if it's going to be a PS4 game also now, because I question everything. Since Bridge of Kena, or Kena Bridge of Spirits is now.
Sorry,
also
which what was that?
The Pathless? The one they showed in
the archery thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Sliding around archery.
Yeah.
Play. Yeah, it must have been last week. I own it. So, yeah, it must have been last.
There you go. There you go. Why did this not go to my feed? Yeah, there are a couple things here. Now I'm going to have to go look at my social media integration to figure out why the things that are on the website did not go to the feed.
Yeah,
because I've
we
posted
got to
a bunch
get
of stuff.
me straightened out too. Because with you going to be moving, I need to up my feed, and I don't. My thing's broke, so I got to get figured out with you what I'm doing.
I'll help you with that. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is about to make a bunch of money because its remaster looks friggin' awesome, and it's a complete remaster. They ganked the trick code from the original games and ported it to this engine, so it is exactly the way you remember it to be. I have seen a ton of media stuff. It looks amazing. You're going to have the builder where you can build your own tracks, online multiplayer, and it's both 1 and 2 remastered. So,
and a lot of, I mean, I never played. I did not play any Tony Hawk. I've never played any.
You're missing out. You will love it, Matt. It's really fun.
So I don't know. We'll see if I jump in on this or not. But it sounds like, a lot of the things that people have been looking for. Because I have a lot of people that are diehard fans of this series, especially 1 and 2. Especially 2. 2 seems to be the big one.
Yep.
And it sounds like it's hitting all the marks for everyone. From what it sounds like, if it comes anywhere close to what is being advertised, it's going to do really, really well.
I have never been good at skateboarding, with the caveat that I have never really tried that much. But I got really good at this game, and it is it's up there with SSX for me. Like, it is
Wow.
It is by far and away the best. Like, it's not a simulation, but it is the best action-oriented skating game that I have ever played. And the soundtrack is awesome, and it's going to have features that I do not believe were ever in the original, like multiplayer. So I am completely down for this experiment. And it looks like you're going to be playing in San Francisco, LA, and a bunch of other places. They have female avatars, male avatars, all well-known skater characters. And you may say, I don't know who any of these people are. You'll learn as you go, because that's part of the game. And it's actually kind of cool that they do that. So
And they've got like aged versions of the characters. So like the characters are playable at the age they are now versus when the game originally hit.
I would be surprised if they didn't have both. Like,
yeah,
if
I'm guessing they'll have both.
Yeah, but it'll be funny to play a 45-year-old Tony Hawk versus the 20-year-old Tony Hawk from the time. But yeah, I'm super excited about it.
And nobody seems to be too pissed off about the soundtrack changes so far. So
that
was the big thing.
It only really looks like they lost like 3 or 4 songs from the entire thing, which is
and they're adding new ones too, right? I mean, they're adding new ones. So
yep.
Yeah, in terms of song licensing, that's insane because that never happens.
Nope. So that's really cool. I really hope Tony Hawk gets a cut of this. I don't know if he does or not. But
yeah, because didn't he break relationship with them? It's all weird, yeah.
We'll see.
PS5 got another launch date game. A new multiplayer mode for Ghost of Tsushima. It's called Legends, means that it's basically going to be a launch date multiplayer game for PS5.
And it's a free update if you own the game, and you're getting, I believe that same announcement, there's a free update to PS5 for it as well. So
yep, and it's a cooperative 2 to 4 player multiplayer that does not rely on your single player story character. Yep. You get basically classes of tank,
they're
healer,
classes based on the armors from the game.
Yeah, and you're going to hell. It looks like.
It reminded me a lot of the Onimusha. Mm-hmm. When you had that tower you had to go through, or the upside down tower you had to go through. It reminded me just visually in the style that they were putting up for that. For some reason, it obviously looks better than that, but for some reason when I saw it, it evoked a lot of that imagery.
No, I agree with that. Yeah. The funny part is it also probably inadvertently, but maybe not so much, because the portal is in the
gates.
The gates, the Japanese gates,
the shrine gates, yeah.
The shrine. Why can I not remember this word in Japanese?
Me either right
now. Japanese shrine gate. Why
both of us are having
Tori? Oh my god!
Tori
why can't
gate,
I remember Tori? Yeah. So I'm having a day apparently. Because the gate, the other world shows through the Tori like it does, I immediately got sucked into Tokyo Ghoul.
Oh, yeah.
The upcoming PS5 game. Because they do that exact same thing, and I was like, I wonder if there was really no communication between those teams about how they might be using the gates, or maybe it is on purpose. Who knows? I don't know. It was interesting, though.
Yeah.
We talked about Spider-Man coming to Avengers on PS4 only. Actually, we didn't, because that was over the break. A lot of people are really giving Marvel a lot of grief about this. And Sony a lot of grief about this, and I don't get it.
Giving him grief. Like, is it because it's not at launch, or because Spider-Man's in it?
No, neither. It's because the content is in the game, but if you are an Xbox owner, you cannot get it for a year, even though you paid the same amount of money as a PS4 player. Which is great, but exclusives have always been that way.
Yeah.
So why are you... buy a PS4 if you really want to play it that bad. If you don't, then wait till the exclusivity. Which somebody will go like, well, you're talking from the winning side. No, it's not a winning or a losing side. There was stuff for other games that Xbox has had exclusivity on. It just so happens that PS4 is the larger user install base, and so Sony, or I don't know if it's Sony, but probably somebody paid for the exclusivity with Marvel, or with Marvel proper, not Marvel the game, for this. So,
Yeah.
do you think they're being hampered by paying the same amount and not getting the same content?
Nah.
It
How things
always
work.
happened. Yeah, you know what? You can go to a store and buy. There'll be two packages side by side, and one will come with an extra bonus something, and the other one won't, and they cost the exact same amount of money. I mean, the same kind of thing happens everywhere. You know, you go to Walmart and buy a package of socks, and it comes with 8, and you go to Target and it comes with 7, and you paid the same price.
Mhm.
It's rampant, right? I mean, it just
Mhm.
it,
Whoever can get the better deals and has the right connections to get the right things. It's how business works.
and I'm sure this is 100% because of Marvel's Spider-Man. I'm sure that's 100% the reason why Sony
yeah.
was willing to chunk out the dollars. Plus, Sony and Marvel have that existing relationship from that, you know, their debut major game, you know, their debut
Mhm.
AAA game, and I'm sure that is. Now, you know, are they gonna feel like they got burned by it and either, you know, try to find a way to reverse it or just never do anything like that again? Maybe, you know, maybe the market just isn't in a place where but I think it's more the state we're in right now with all of the different socioeconomical
Mm-hmm.
issues that are ongoing right now. I think that's why this one hits so hard, right? It's just
Yeah.
everybody's on edge and looking for a
Mhm.
fight, and
Yeah,
just
that
what
would
thing to
describe
fight about.
that describes this year pretty well.
Mm. Well, what have I missed, Matt?
Oh, something I'm sure. I've been really slammed with work this last couple of weeks, and my brain is not retaining anything. There's a life size, full size Gundam in Japan that can take individual steps now.
Hmm.
that's
I've seen a
that's
bunch of memes talking about how the end of the world must be coming because of that.
why Gundam's gonna save us, not cause it.
But whenever someone's doing that, there's normally a threat that needs it to be again, so it's
Yeah,
going to
it's
Yeah,
show.
it's
coming in
called
preparation
2020.
to.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can't laser rifle 2020 out of existence.
True. Well,
I don't know about
Uh,
that.
uh,
Um,
Mr. Dwayne Johnson has just released the first image of the Black Adam costume, and surprising no one, it looks exactly like a black version of the Shazam costume, minus the cape.
well, that's good. I saw that he was going to drop some information about that. It sounds like they may be using Black Adam to introduce the elsewhere slash multiverse for the DC universe. So,
That'd be cool.
um,
It is DC fandom or
yep,
fandom, whatever that word is. I
fandom.
can't
Yeah,
figure it.
fandom.
Fandom.
It's fandom.
This weekend, so
yeah,
there'll be a lot of DC news dropping
I
this.
saw so many commercials about that because I was watching an anime on Crunchyroll, and basically every other ad was that.
Um, oh, the whole thing about Control and only the upcoming Ultra Mega Kamehameha edition getting the free update to PS5. So all the people who bought the original launch version and the DLC are not going to get a free upgrade to PS5. It'll still work in backwards compatibility mode they've committed to, but you won't get the PS5 version for free unless you buy the upcoming game of the year type edition, right? So
So
everything's included.
you fell into that camp, right?
Which camp?
The ones that bought the original game.
No, I actually was stalling on it because I
Oh,
heard it didn't perform well on stock PS4,
I see.
stock launch PS4. So I was holding out for PS5 to play it. But now it sounds like I'll be able to get a version on PS4 and then it'll update to the PS5 version, if I want to do that route. Um, so I lucked out because I had the patience to wait for it. But it's also similar to the other. It's got a lot of people kind of annoyed, that they're not getting the thing. They came back out and said basically they didn't really throw Sony under the bus, but if you're reading between the lines and know much about anything on this kind of stuff, basically it sounds like their Ultimate Edition is coming out as a different SKU, and Sony's only allowing you to publish one SKU across systems.
Mm-hmm.
Is what it sounds like. And so they said, well, we're going to push our Ultimate Edition, right? We're not going to push the old edition. We'll push the Ultimate Edition. Now, downside of that is those original fans are losing out on that update.
I still have so many questions about this system. Like, so many questions. Not just price. Not just price. Not just release
how
date.
It's going to work.
How is PS4 compatibility, backwards compatibility going to work? Because apparently nothing is going to be certified to do it. It just may or it may not. And is there going to be a process behind that? And can you specify I want my PS4 games to run from this external drive, whereas I want my PS5 games to run from this internal SSD drive? Because that's what they said they were going to recommend everybody do, but there's been no information about how that works. I know nothing about the PS5 other than it looks sexy. That's it. It looks like a 70s retro console radio, and I love it. But I want to know about the actual system. Is the PS4 crossbar going to be there? Is it going to be something new? Is it going to be something that whereas the store doesn't crash every third thing I look at? That would be great. How is this all going to work? So many questions.
Yep, and all we can do is wait because those answers aren't coming.
It's got to be next week.
It's
1 month later. It's got to be next week.
I'm just going to keep saying it until it happens.
One of these times you'll be right.
Yeah, exactly.
The last time.
The last time, yes. Ben Affleck is returning as Batman for the Flash movie, which apparently still hasn't been canceled. I thought it got canceled again.
I totally thought I thought he was done.
I thought
Miller was just like he was done.
Apparently not, or they're replacing him because the movie is still ongoing. Movie theaters here are opening back up with lots of interesting rules and spacing and ordering your snacks ahead of time and all kinds of interesting stuff. So they are going to be showing Tenet here at the end of the month. So I am tempted to go, but we'll see.
So they're open here. I actually canceled my AMC stubs because, as someone who, no, they actually paused it. And it's supposed to start again shortly, and I went ahead and canceled it now. Not that I couldn't use it where I'm going, but, as someone who lives with someone who is immunocompromised, I can't even fathom going to see a movie in a movie theater with other people. Not that I wouldn't enjoy doing it. It's just that I would still be petrified that I would bring something home and be the cause of their sickness and or worse. So I couldn't do that. And this is one of those other things that I've been thinking about a lot is how is this going to get back to normal? And it seems like there's a long path ahead before movie going gets back to normal.
Yeah.
Yep.
But if you do this, Matt, I am charging you with a quest. You must write up your experience of attending a movie theater during COVID, because I think that's interesting.
Yeah, if I go, we'll see. I don't leave the house anymore. I literally never leave the house anymore.
Me too.
Like, at all. And it's not because it's not because I strongly feel like I can't. I don't.
Well,
there's no reason to.
Daniel is also immunocompromised, and he's been inside The only time he leaves is the one day a week that he goes to work where there is no one in the facility but him. So he's pretty well taking care of himself. And when I told him that we were moving, his first reaction was legit, "Oh my God, can I drive up and come see you? I'm so bored." Because like us, he's been out of the house like for besides work like 3 times since March. So
Yep.
yeah.
Ooh, here's a thing that people might find interesting. This just came out yesterday or 2 days ago. The original and the new Thundercats are on Hulu.
Oh,
And not the new, not the Thundercats Go, but the, what was it, 2013-ish?
Yeah.
which was surprisingly good, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was good. It was very, 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 very different. It took
Yeah.
me a while to adjust to that level of difference, but it was really actually pretty good, all things considered. Really good animation, good voice acting. Will
Did we ever actually watch the ending of that?
Yeah, it didn't. That's why
Oh.
it doesn't feel like we watched the ending, because it didn't.
It didn't end.
No, it ended, but it just stopped.
The ending didn't end.
There was like a cliffhanger ending,
Yeah,
and
something.
then
It
no
just- there
following
was-
season. I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's going to bring us to the end of the show. And it's the part of the show where we like to thank all of our patrons and everything. So I'm going to put them up on the screen because we have so many. Thank you for everybody who has subscribed via Twitch or gone on our Patreon. And I'll read them out once I pause it here because I need the list in front of me because we have so many folks. So if you would like to support us, as always, you can do so here on Twitch by clicking the follow or the subscribe button if you have the ability to do so. We appreciate everybody who does. On YouTube, like and subscribe. Leave a message in the comments to let us know what you like about the show or questions you have for us, and we will read them on the air during the podcast. Make sure you hit the bell so that you're notified every time we upload new content, which is pretty much every day of the week, Monday through Friday, weekly. And then last but not least, you can head over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/gamersledge, where you can get your name on every show we do as a producer for as little as $1 a month. And so let me put this up on the screen. And uh-oh, it didn't work. That's great. Oh, that's a schedule bumper. Wow, I can't do anything right today. This is fantastic. Is this the
moving
one?
brain? Once moving brain
Yeah.
kicks in,
Man.
nothing else works.
100% real. Okay. Can I pause this now? Pause. Okay, great. I got it. So, thank you to Justin, Naomi, Lexi, Regina, Peter, Dance Commander Ramey Becker, Michael Thompson, Mark Johnson, Eric the Amazing Luna, John O'Callahan, June Kuribayashi, Patrick Tubach, Dave Butler, Tracy Fuller, Michael Sims, Nick Nevels, Dave Bach, Matt Kuhn, John Myers, Kevin Rollins, William Overstreet, John Hewlett, Colleen McBride, Arturo Gonzalez, and of course Tim Paget, who is also on some of these, but I haven't gotten a chance to update them because of moving. So thank you all for participating and supporting us, and I will put it back so that we can see everybody's bright smiling faces again rather than podcast normal. There it is. Come on. Yay. Thank you to all our patrons and subscribers. That's going to bring us to final thoughts. Final thoughts this week, Keegan.
Wasn't thinking about this. Really want to know some stuff about the PS5. But still have nothing.
School starting up soon. You're going to be in attendance at the dorms. Are you going to
Most classes are hybrid or online, so won't have to walk around to most of my classes, I guess.
So they're putting you in the
Big hill every
dorm.
morning.
So they're putting you in the dorm, but then you are doing virtual classes from the dorm?
Yep.
But he
Wow.
has labs. He has labs and
There's labs. That's the important part for being on campus, really. The labs, because I wouldn't want to do the labs online.
I was going to say, man, that is some smart racketeering from the schools.
Oh,
you
it
got
is. It's,
you
it
gotta
really
you gotta
is.
be here, even though you don't gotta be here.
Yep.
It feels a little dirty. I'll be
Yeah.
honest.
I believe that. It sounded a
What,
little
what's
dirty
what?
when you said it.
Then after Thanksgiving, it's going to go to online, but I believe we're still allowed to stay on campus. That way, we have options, so they still have to, so they don't have to refund anything.
So wait a minute. So if you're staying in the dorm, does that mean that you're also like on a meal plan and that stuff too?
Yep.
So how are
We
So
don't
you
know
can
yet.
go home after the semester, but you can stay. So that means they don't have to refund anything.
yeah, but I mean, how are they going to control the wherever you get your food from so that it's safe? Because
They mentioned that they're managing things so things are set up for better spacing, less seating available, and you have to wear masks literally everywhere.
be very careful, Keegan, please.
I will.
Okay. I will be thinking about you. Is that the same for your other son too?
Yep. It's even dirtier for him because he's a soft sciences guy. So there's literally no reason for him to need to be there other than certain classes are having classes, once a week instead of, if it's a 3 a week class, they are having it one. So they're really kind of, it's iffy. It's really iffy, but you got to respect the drive to keep that revenue going. But
Wow. Well, Matt, final thoughts that aren't related in murdering school systems.
my final thought is Mitchell couldn't be with us tonight because work changed his shift at the last minute. So he was supposed to work earlier today, but he ended up working tonight. But he has started picking up his artwork again, and he's got a new set. He got some recommendations on some coloring pens and some inking devices and stuff, and so he's picking up. And so I got of course
You have to turn off your background.
virtual background. How do I do that
Return to
again?
reality.
You go to the video up arrow and choose
Arrow.
choose virtual background none.
Choose virtual background. Okay, there it is. It's been so long since I've done this. I have. How do I turn it off?
Right, you go to
None.
the choose
Pick
virtual
none.
background and choose none.
Yep. That's when. Oh, it's good. I gotta scroll up. That's why.
Yeah,
Okay.
you may have to scroll up.
So now you can see all my wonderful mess in the background. But so this
Oh,
is
nice.
something he did for me.
That's awesome.
So we'll hopefully have some more samplings to things, and we'll see where he gets with it because he's working on basically free commissions right now. So he'll take suggestions from his friends, and then he'll do a drawing of that character for them.
Well, you know what I want.
So nope, I don't.
Who is the best character in any
No,
comics universe?
Lord, no, he's not going to draw Mullet Man.
It's better than Spider-Man, the horror story. And he can be Bald Bishop. I don't care. That one's cool too.
Well, okay. Yeah, we'll have to see. He hasn't actually gotten. He's been sticking more to the anime style characters at the moment, but we'll have to see if we see what he feels on that one.
Okay.
Because maybe if we do like '90s animated series style, that might be kind of closer to what he's used to drawing. So
Sure. Or it can be anime version of him. I don't care.
yeah.
Any bishop is a good bishop. Except the villain bishop, which we don't talk about because what were they doing?
Dog is phasing in and out.
Yeah, he's. So I will say that, like, the barking issue mostly gone because Lexi's not here, but he has been the most spoiled, needy thing. I'll be like working, and he's like, "It's time for me to crawl up on your lap and go to sleep now." I'm like, "I'm working here, dog," and he's just like, "Nope, it's my turn." So he's been pretty close to me at pretty much all points and times lately.
Yeah, whenever
so.
the mommy leaves, then they get clingy.
Yep. So my final thought is actually promoting another stream that I'm doing in less than 10 minutes. We're actually going to be doing a full party playthrough of Marvel's Avengers with a 4-player party. If you want to come and join us, you're more than welcome to. We'd be happy to have you. And it will be 2 of the players' first time doing multiplayer, and then Ken and I, we're gonna get stuck with the dregs of. I'm just calling it now. We're playing Black Widow and Kamala Khan. I know that's gonna be the case because they're gonna end up taking Hulk and Iron Man, which is fine. Which Iron Man, by the way, plays a lot. I know we talked about this a little bit. I'm like, out of the ones in the beta, he's probably my favorite so far. I like Kamala probably second best, only because that was one of the other things I meant to say and didn't super quick, is that it's really weird that some characters' ranged attack will go like 350 yards, and other people's ranges attacks will only go 150 yards. And there's no like rhyme or reason or indicator or any of that stuff. It is that's one of the things I'm hoping they'll tweak as well. But yeah. So yeah, join us for that here momentarily. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll end the show as we do always with a positive piece of wisdom to lead you through to the next time that we're all together. Matt.
Yeah.
I've been saving this one for a while too.
Oh Lord.
Why do you tell actors to break a leg?
Because they're too pretty to break their face?
No, because every play has a cast.
No. Okay. That's worst.
Until next time, game on.
Game on.